Hello and welcome to the TES Secondary Maths Resource of the Week number 13 with me, Craig Barton. Now, I know what you're thinking. 13, unlucky for some. Well, if anything, lucky for us, because this is an absolute classic resource. It has been uploaded by Daniel W. Kelly and it's called Odd One Out. Now, before we crack into this, I'll just tell you a little secret. I am a huge fan of resources and I have a bit of a bias towards these for choosing them for Resource of the Week. Resources that are versatile. Resources that I can't just use for one topic, but I can use for all sorts of topics. And also, if possible, resources that are versatile enough that they don't just lend themselves to using with year 7 classes, but also I can use in my year 11s and ideally my year 13 further mathematicians as well. And Odd One Out fits that bill to perfection. So you will see there are 24 files, but luckily TES has this beautiful blue button, so click that and you download them all in one go. And they're all individual PowerPoints. So I'm just going to show you a couple of these so you can get your head around what this resource is all about. So every single resource consists of 2 slides. One is a kind of a question slide, one's an answer slide. And the idea is you just project this up in your class. Now, if you want to be organised, far more organised than me, this grid, this 9 square grid, you can actually print out, cut round and give the kids to stick in their book. To be honest with you, I probably should do that, but I just say to the kids, just make a quick copy of that. Draw yourself 9 squares and just copy those down. And then the idea is the students work their way through these 8 questions, A to H, and the answer to each of them is contained in one of these 9 squares. Now, I know what you're thinking, wait a minute, 8 questions, 9 squares. I think I know what's coming here. Yep, one of them is the odd one out. One of them does not match up. And there we can see on the answer slide here, we can see all the different answers. And we can see that 2n brackets 3n plus 2 is the odd one out. And then what do we do there? Well, perfect. Can students think of a question that would lead to that answer? So we've got an extra little twist in the tail at the end. And they just carry on like this all the way through. So a nice one here with solving linear equations, and we get a fairly tricky one, leaning H at the end. A equals 4 is the answer. Can anybody make up an equation where A equals 4 would be the answer? Perhaps we get 5 of those equations that students have come up with and we test them all out as a whole class. It's not just algebra. Look at this, fraction and decimal equivalents there. Matching those up, lovely questions. Highest common factor, lowest common multiple. So simple, right? And again, that grid there, very quick for the kids just to copy down in the book. You don't have to do any printing out or anything like that. Just bang this up and away we go. Negative numbers. Whew, my students have a bit of a nightmare with these. Any year group, I think it'd be worth doing this with. Even if you've got a year 11 group, just bang this up there. So I think it take 5 minutes. It may just expose some key misconceptions that they've got. Sequences, lovely, some arithmetic sequences here, and possibly some different types of sequences as well. Look at that one, 20, 19, 17, 14, and so on. So exposing students to that kind of stuff. And I like this here, 0.5 is the odd one out. Can students come up with some interesting sequences that have 0.5 as their next term? And straight line graphs. I really like this one here. My students, again, it's making me sound like a terrible teacher, this maybe I am, but my students have a bit of a phobia when it comes to straight line graphs. A perfect resource here for testing that they understand that the equations of lines simply are rules that determine whether coordinates lie on those lines or not. So ideal. So, how are we going to use these? Well, the author suggests using them as a starter or a plenary, and I think that is a great way of using them, particularly for revision. If you've got year 11s or, you're coming to the end of the year and you've got exams to prepare for and you're trying to decide what to focus your attention on and you can't afford to spend full lessons on single topics, this is ideal for this. You can rattle through quite a few topics with this in just kind of 5 or 10 minutes, so it's perfect for that. But I'd also be tempted to use this as a main part of the lesson as well, especially if I was teaching something for the first time, like that one I showed you on coordinates on points of graphs. That's a lesson in itself, right? So maybe do some teaching, do some modelling and so on, and then give the kids the worksheet to have a go at, either print it out or project it on the board. Once they've finished, they've got that challenge of coming up with a question that gives that as the answer. And then for an extra challenge, I'd say, right, I want you to create me your own one of these now. Create me 9 answers, create me 8 questions. One's got to be the odd one out. I'll give you 10 minutes to do that, and then I want you to swap with your partner. Your partner's going to answer it and see if they can find the odd one out. It just forms a lovely structured lesson, which just a bit more engaging than just giving them a worksheet and so on. So look, I'm a huge fan of odd one out. And as I say, it's versatile enough that I could use it with my year 7s, or if I put some calculus in there or something like that, then all of a sudden I'm using it with my year 12s and year 13s as well. So hopefully you agree with me that it's a bit of a classic. If you do like it, hop back on the resource page and just share your thanks or a review with the author. It does make all the difference to these people who share their resources kindly on TES. And I shall see you for a fresh Resource of the Week next week. Take care of yourselves. Bye for now.